Guys, this is part two of the knowledge check, the green knowledge check that needs to be uploaded into Canvas by Wednesday. I believe there is an assignment link in Canvas on Wednesday to upload your completed knowledge check. However, please understand that I still want you to use your knowledge check so that and study from it so that you can take the green mega test on Thursday and on Friday. Western Movement, A Manifest Destiny. This is reasons for going west. These are reasons for going west. Land opportunities, adventure, just curiosity, um, new opportunities for financial means, new business opportunities. Gold Rush number two, Gold Rush in 49. When gold was discovered in one of those mines, thousands rushed in to claim their mines. This is from the Rap. In California, in search of quick riches to hopefully get wealthy. However, obviously, very few people did get wealthy during the gold rush. However, the big thing about the gold rush that you need to be familiar with is that California now had a lot of people living there to become a state. Tahoe state becomes a state, the Northwest Ordinance. So in 1850, they applied for statehood as a result of the gold rush. Major trails, be familiar with the Oregon Trail. We've already done that with our game simulation we did. Santa Fe Trail, the Mormon Trek to Utah, and then obviously the California Trail as well to areas for gold. The Mountain Men, be familiar with these groups that we did. The Fur Traders, Adventure in Oregon Country, trying to make money that way by fur trading. Pioneer women, women who traveled west, went through many hardships. I think one of the names that comes to my head, I think it was Biddy Mason. The missionaries, people who went to Oregon and west to spread Christianity. Unfortunately, as you know, though, a lot of them spread uh, different diseases to a lot of the Native Americans. Unfortunately, many Chinese immigrants came over to California during the gold rush. They're also responsible for the Transcontinental Railroad as a result of that. Explorers, people who explored the West, those are people like obviously Lewis and Clark. The Mormon Trek, the Mormons. This is a religious group that was being. This is spelled wrong, by the way, but this was a religious group that was being persecuted. And finally, when their leader was executed, Joseph Smith, Brigham Young led and migrated thousands of Mormons to the Great Salt Lake City, Utah area to establish their own religious freedoms and to escape religious persecution. 49ers, people who searched for riches during the California Gold Rush. Make sure you have that down. Okay, land acquisitions. Real quick, land acquisitions. Study the map on land acquisitions. Remember your mnemonic. Oh no, look for the old Mexican general. Excuse me. O and no is the original 13 colonies. No is the Northwest Territory. Look is Louisiana Purchase. 4 is Florida. T is Texas annexation. Old is Oregon Territory. Mexican cession. That's California. Utah, Nevada, New Mexico. Those areas. And the general is that little strip of land for the Gadsden Purchase. I do want to show you. I hope I have it available. Yes. This right here, just keep in mind that this is the mnemonic and have all of these as well. I know there's a section on your knowledge check on the bottom for this. The O and the no go together because it is from Britain and it is the Red Unit of the American Revolution. All of this was acquired through 1783 when America was born. America was born in 1783, not 1776. We just declared independence in 1776, July 4th, but 1783 is when officially the Treaty of Paris was signed and America was thus born. And we have now land up to the Mississippi River past the Appalachian Mountains. We got the Louisiana Purchase from Napoleon in France. This is 1803. Jefferson then doubled the U.S. territory. Go all the way down. Please make sure you have all these dates down for the Gadsden Purchase. Thus, acquiring Manifest Destiny, number one, and then all of our continental United States from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. minus obviously Hawaii and Alaska. But the just keep all of these things on this chart on your knowledge check. Original 13 colonies, already went over that. The Treaty of Paris, 1783, America was born. The Northwest Territory kind of go together. This is land past the Appalachian Mountains up to the Mississippi River is the boundary line. Okay. Then go down to Louisiana Purchase, 1803. This is Jefferson's land. 3 pennies an acre, $15 million. It was a steal. It was a heck of a deal. Adams-Onis Treaty. This is gave the United States Florida. Texas annexation, 1845. Because of war debt from the U.S.-Mexican War. I'm sorry, from the Texas Revolution. Oregon Territory split with Great Britain in 1846 through a mutual agreement. Also, Polk did both of those. James Polk did Texas and acquired the Oregon Territory as well. Mexican Cession. This is the U.S.-Mexican War because they didn't like Texas annexing into the United States. It was ended through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The Mexican War causes, this is Texas annexation and border disputes, James K. Polk and Zachary Taylor, down to the disputed territory to provoke Mexico into attacking the U.S. first. Polk returns to Congress saying his famous quote is, "American blood has been spilled on American soil," and thus the U.S.-Mexican War is started. Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ended the U.S.-Mexican War. Gadsden Purchase, that's the last piece of land for the continental United States from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and it was for the railroad reasons because of the rocky terrain. Annexation means to add, and cede means to give away. I just went over this already. Make sure you have that in your Unit 7 spiral. That should be all done. It looks like this. This is for that little section, that little chart down there. Don't forget, please, to add no. Oh, no. Those are, again, all from Britain, but just make sure you have that down as well. Oops. This is your land acquisitions. Make sure that you know what number 1 is, number 2 is, number 3. I would insert text boxes onto that and make sure you have all that down. Should not take you that long. The only dates that you really need to know is 1783, all of this. Louisiana Purchase, 1803. I would say Texas annexation, 1845. And I believe those are the only big important dates that you need to know, but you do need to know the order. 1, 2, kind of go together. 3, 4, oh no, look, 4, the old Mexican general. Okay, going into Unit 8, which is Industrial Revolution and Reform with our games that we played and our simulations that we played. Robert Fulton, steam engine, popularized it. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin and really popularized the cotton gin and also interchangeable parts. Cyrus McCormick invented the mechanical reaper. This is on there twice. Please delete number 4. Number 5 is the John Deere steel tip plow, revolutionizing farming industry because of the different soil. Needed a steel tip plow in order to cultivate the soil. Cultivate means to stir up, to dig up, to move so that plants can grow. Francis Cabot Lowell, Francis of the factory system in the Northeast. That's in the New England area that recruited young women to work for cheap labor. And they also worked at the weaving and spinning machines in the factories. Industrialization and immigration, the push-pull factors, make sure you have that down on your Unit 8 spiral. The push-pull factors, why were people forced to come to the United States? Why were people pulled into the United States? That's immigration and immigrants. Potato famine, Irish potato famine led a lot of people here. They had to leave Ireland. A lot of them got sick and died. The Irish came to the United States because they were starving to death. Many went to the Northeast to work in factories. Many also helped build the Transcontinental Railroad from the East Coast. I have a definition down for immigration and immigration, immigrants and immigrants. The Know Nothing Party were an anti-immigrant and anti-Irish group. They blamed a lot of immigrants for taking native-born Americans' jobs. They were willing, though, to work for low wages. And then they were obviously competing for jobs as well, which stirred up a lot of controversy and anger with those that were born natively into the United States. Reformers. This is the end of Unit 8. This is obviously the industrialization triggers the reform movement, triggers people wanting to make society better. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, Susan B. Anthony, all of these are the women's rights movements. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, don't forget, organized the women's rights movements in Seneca Falls, New York, and fought for suffrage. Suffrage, again, means the right to vote. Lucretia Mott organized the women's rights movement in Seneca Falls, New York, and also fought for women's suffrage. Again, this did not happen, though, until the 19th Amendment in the early 1900s. Leader of the women's rights movement, Susan B. Anthony, gave a lot of speeches, and she currently has her face on the U.S. silver dollar. Dorothea Dix did a couple things, did the prison reform for a men and women's prison, as well as helping take care of the mentally ill. Sojourner Truth she was part of the women's rights movement, but she also was for women's rights, and she was an abolitionist to get rid of slavery. Having seen most of her children being sold into slavery, she fought to abolish that movement, to abolish slavery. Henry David Thoreau, transcendentalist who practiced civil disobedience and sat in jail instead of paying taxes that supported the U.S.-Mexican War. He also helped to influence people to get rid of the buying and selling of human beings with the slave movement. Transcendentalist poet would be Ralph Waldo Emerson. Transcendentalist poet who also wrote different types of literature, and something called the poet who wrote the poem that shot her around the world, where that became popular with Lexington and Concord. Hudson River School. These were also transcendentalists. They painted landscapes. Keep that in mind, landscapes, and encouraged people to move west. Horace Mann, leader of education reform. Carrie Nations, a leader of the temperance, getting rid of alcohol, drinking little or to no alcohol, regulating it. Second Great Awakening, religious revival that led to many reform movements along with the Transcendentalists. However, their emphasis was on God and the awakening to having moral truth through God's word in the Bible. This led to people wanting to change society and make people realize their downfalls, and to make sure that they are changing society and make life better on earth. Second Great Awakening, Transcendentalists, we already did that. These are writers who stress the importance of nature and letting your conscience be your guide. The Enlightenment, intellectual movement that led to the American Revolution. Also, this continues within the Green Unit as well too. Temperance movement, this is to end the abuse of alcohol. Labor reform, a movement to try and help improve working conditions, provide benefits to workers, child labor laws, etc. Know these dates: 1783, Treaty of Paris, Louisiana Purchase, California Gold Rush, Texas annexation. And I believe those are the big dates you need to know for the Green Unit. Not a lot of dates in the Green Unit, being such a big unit. The only ones you need to know are right here for land acquisitions. And then obviously you know that 1850, this is when California wanted to become a state because of the gold rush. Thousands of people were rushing there to get wealthy. Okay, guys, I think that's it for part 2. Make sure this is done and completed, and that is also turned in to, make sure it is turned into Canvas, uploaded to Canvas through your Google Drive. sometime on Wednesday. Great job. And then don't forget to take your flashcard test as well too on Canvas. And then make sure that you are ready to go for Thursday and Friday. The mega test part 1 is on Thursday, part 2 is on Friday. Great job. I will talk to you guys soon on Google Hangout.